and then if he roll call or after, we can bring him into the fold there. So, oh, and there's John. Your picture just showed up for me. I don't know if you just turned your camera on, but welcome. Cool. Let's jump through the roll call and we can kick off today's meeting. I'm here, John Clifford.
I forgot. I'm here. I just turned on my. I forgot to turn on my mic.
Oh yeah, no worries.
It's on now.
Cool. Brian Amer.
Here.
All right. Joy.
I'm here.
Excellent. And then Steve, I'm not seeing him yet still. Brian.
Yep, here.
Okay. Donovan.
Here.
Rodney.
Yep, here.
I think I saw you walking. Yeah. And then Manny.
Here.
Excellent. All right. So we have a quorum. Let's go forward. I don't have any adjustments to today's agenda, so we can jump right to approval of the minutes that Kelsey had sent out from our meeting last month. Did anybody have any comments regarding the minutes or anything they had noted for any kind of edits? Okay, I'll take the silence as we want to approve them as is. So I'll move to approve the meeting minutes from last month. If I can get a second.
I'll second it. I'm John.
All right, thank you, John. And then all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, any opposed? Okay, so we passed the meeting minutes from last month as they are, no edits. So let's go on to the next item, which is citizen comment. And we do have a citizen comment this month. So I'm excited for that. They had very detailed input. So we definitely appreciate any time people are able to reach out and provide a comment for us. Let me put that at my end too so I can read it. But so from Neil Shannon, he shared several thoughts. So I'll read the letter he submitted, and then Kelsey has some pictures as well. So let me jump to the top of the letter here. Okay. So his letter states, "Good evening. My name is Neil Shannon, and I reside at 23997." So basically, he gave his address in Sherwood. It's unfortunate that we are not able to get together in person. However, if any of you would like to contact me regarding the issues that I'm bringing forward, please feel free to do so. My contact information is at the end of the statement. Tomorrow, the 2021 Parks and Recreation Master Plan will be presented before the City Council for adoption. This is an excellent plan, well written, with goals and objectives suitable for the health and happiness of the citizens of Sherwood and the region. If all goes to schedule, this plan will be adopted 2 weeks from now and be a part of the planning process as a sub-element of the City of Sherwood Comprehensive Plan 30 days later. The implementation of this plan is going to be an exciting time, and I believe that there is an early opportunity for the Parks Board and staff to get involved. I've appeared before this board several times over the past few years, advising the board regarding the potential of the Brookman Road development. The new master plan has some great ideas regarding Brookman. I would like to address the central and eastern segments. Development has started in this area with several locations already in construction or approved for construction. My concern and your opportunity is the area directly south and east of Redfern Drive. The area has been annexed by the city, and the developer has begun the pre-application process for plat approval for Cedar Creek Garden. As you can see in the proposed plat map, I don't have, I'm reading the things, so I don't see what Kelsey has open, but if you want to demonstrate the plat map. Oh, and now I lost my spot. As you see the proposed plat map.
I think that I'm on the plat map.
What's that?
I think that I'm on the plat map right now.
Okay. Great. All right, so as you can see on that plat map, besides the expected new housing at the southern section, the developer is trying to shoehorn 3 additional houses, lots 38, 39, and 40, in a 50-foot strip of land connecting Redford Drive and Brookman Road. I anticipate that the developer will have great difficulty obtaining approval for these lots, as there will be problems with access at Redfern and significant setback issues. Given that, it seems to me there's an opportunity to dedicate a pedestrian and bicycle path connection between Redfern and Brookman roads. This path would be the first trail connecting the current Sherwood trail system to the new developments in Brookman Road. In addition, based on Figure 4 of the PRMP, that's the Park and Recreation Master Plan, we can see that this area fails to meet the 10-minute access goals. A trail at this location would meet many of the principles identified in Chapter 3, including the expansion and enhancement of the city's trail system, develop and enhance recreation opportunities, and promote natural resources as a shared and critical community asset by being good stewards of Sherwood's natural resources, ecosystems, and urban forest, and protecting and enhancing their function, quality, and diversity. The kids in the neighborhood call this area Sherwood Forest. I have included a few pictures of the area, including the heavily forested acreage of big trees and the wildlife that dwell there. It would be a shame for the city of Sherwood to lose such a wonderful asset. I hope and request that the park board would work with city staff and the developer to find a way to preserve this valuable asset. So I just want to say thank you so much, Neil, for the comment and for the level of detail you provided as well. So that was very helpful, and we're very grateful for your valuable input. So I think after this, maybe we can send that out to the group since his contact info it was in there, and so that way if people do want to reach out, people in the group do have that contact. I didn't think it was worth stating publicly necessarily, but if anybody on the board does want to reach out. Oops, did I accidentally click something on my, yeah, so there's the deer in that area that he was talking about. So at this point though, I think, yeah, we'll take that as a comment, something we can keep in our back pocket and keep an eye on what's going on with that development. But yeah, thank you very much, Neil, if you're watching or if you're watching the recording later on for that input. So that said, let's jump on to our next segment. And that is the Cedar Creek Trail update. So Jason, do we have Jason on? I didn't see his. Oh yeah,
yes.
Jason.
Can you hear me?
There we go. Yes, we can hear you.
I'll turn my. All right, here I am. I'm in Sherwood in my garage, so I'll turn the video off here. Anyways, I'm just gonna give you a quick update on the project, and we'll get this posted on the web page soon. But we had our pre-construction meeting with the contractor at the end of last month, and they're out there right now getting their construction staking down. The bidding, we do have a little bit of an issue with all the Migratory Bird Treaty Act and the trees that need to be removed. So we've been kind of talking to them about splitting the project up into two main segments for construction. And that would be 99W at Meineke down to the Glen Eagle condos, and getting going on that immediately now, getting that done, and then from the Glen Eagle condos down to Stella Olson Park. So you won't be seeing much construction activity for the next few weeks. They're getting their construction trailer moved in here. They're going to be setting that up at the Washington Street parking lot. They're working on getting power to that. Submittals are coming in. We're getting signal equipment for Meineke ordered up, and there's like a 2-month lead time on that. And the goal for the contractor is, I think, to get Meineke signal done and the crosswalk done around Labor Day. So at least that'll be done by the start of school. And then they'll begin working on the portion from Glen Eagle condos down to Stella Olson Park once the Migratory Bird Treaty Act clears, and that's at the end of July, early August. They can start clearing all the trees from the condos to the park. So they'll really hone in on that area from late July, early August, and then head into the fall to finish that part up. And right now they show on the contract a December 6th completion date, and then that was based on before the bids were delayed a bit. So I'm expecting that to potentially get pushed back a couple of weeks. We'll see. I've got some ideas on how to help the contractor speed things up. So construction's progressing well. We've also got overlapping projects that we're looking at getting completed with some storm projects over on Glen Eagle Drive to maximize efficiencies for our public works and not let our wetland delineations and things like that expire. So hopefully we can get some other projects done at the same time. We are working on a minor change to the alignment along Southwest Alexander Lane that actually is for the better. It pushes the trail back behind that concrete kind of sound wall that's there. We had originally planned on just taking out a bunch of street trees and keeping it, avoiding that ODOT maintenance yard completely just to get it through the permitting process. And now that the project's been let through construction, I'm talking to the ODOT maintenance guys about just moving their fence out of the way. And then that way we can preserve 6 or 7 street trees and not disrupt the residents there along Southwest Alexander Lane. So let's keep our fingers crossed that ODOT approves the change there. Other than that, if you have any questions, let me know, and you're always welcome to reach out directly with questions anytime.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Jason. I just lost my agenda I had open in a tab, so let me reopen that here. Any questions at all for Jason from the update? Okay. Well, let's.
All right, and I'll be back next month too as well. I'll give you another update. I'll keep coming every month until we're done. So
perfect.
If you have questions, just make note and we'll talk in 30 days.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jason. All right, let's jump into pickleball at Snyder Park.
So I'm going to do a little bit of an introduction to this. So first, for those of you who have not had the opportunity to meet Lance Gilgan, he is here with us tonight. Lance is a recreation supervisor over at the field house. So he is the person who's been coordinating gym space and field space for the last 20 years or so. And then also has been the manager over at the field house and is in charge of the operations over there. So this summer, Lance was lucky enough to inherit the pickleball courts / tennis courts up at Snyder Park. And if you all remember from me, I passed that along to him. And if you all remember, we had a visit from the pickleball group. It's been a couple, well, they initially came, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago when they started playing in Sherwood. And at that time, we designated 2 mornings of play. I believe it was Monday and Wednesday mornings. Does that sound correct, Kelsey and Lance? And
Thursday mornings, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Okay, Tuesday and Thursday mornings. And then when the pandemic hit, they were looking for more time. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the tennis courts, they are tennis courts. We don't have any designated pickleball courts in Sherwood, and these are the only tennis courts that the city owns and manages. So they're usually just first come, first serve, open play. So when the pickleball group showed up 3-4 years ago, and a couple of years ago, we resurfaced the courts. We did paint lines on, so there's now pickleball lines there. We also allowed them to have kind of a, I think they're called job box up there where they can store their equipment. So this is a private club that comes in, and we have a couple hours Tuesday morning and Thursday morning for designated play. So during that time, it's supposed to be open for anybody who wants to come and play pickleball, because that's the designated time period when it's set up like a pickleball court as opposed to a tennis court. But this board really thought about how do we balance the needs of the tennis players and then also the pickleball players. So fast forward, we get to the pandemic, their group size grows, and they actually came to us, and at the time we're looking to add 2 evenings. And last, I believe it was June when they were here talking to us, or we were discussing this, we decided at the time to just have 1 evening. We didn't want it to overdo it. Since then, we've had another request for them to add more space. At the same time, we're hearing from the other side of the community, either tennis players or other pickleball players who are struggling to get on the courts as well. So I just wanted to give a little bit of the history for those of you who have not been aware of the pickleball story. And Lance is here because he's had, like I said, has that request for more time. But then I also asked that he be prepared to answer any questions that you might have and just share what we're hearing from the community. So Lance, did I cover that well as an introduction?
Yeah, he did fine. Bottom line, short story is I've been communicating with pickleball quite a bit over the last couple of months because we've been having some complaints, like Kristen said, whether it was other pickleball players or tennis players. There was some misunderstanding that they thought the city of Sherwood was using a website to schedule pickleball at Snyder Park, which we are not doing. That is the pickleball club themselves. I since have asked that site to take our park off of their site because nobody had permission to put it on there. That raised a huge uproar with pickleball. Well, we don't have enough time. There's a ton of tennis courts, da-da-da. And I explained to them that the only 2 tennis courts we have as a city are the ones at Snyder Park. So they asked me if I would come to you guys and ask for another night. And I completely, that's all up to you guys. I don't care one way or the other. I will tell you, since our park has been taken off that site, I believe it's also been put back up on that site, named something else already. And we have some people that believe that this particular club is monopolizing our 2 tennis courts and 4 pickleball courts. But what the club is asking is if they can have another night. They'd like to have Wednesday nights from 5 to 8 p.m. designated for pickleball now. So if you guys got any questions, ask away.
Yeah, I have a quick question. Do you have any idea where, like, if it's a majority of Sherwood residents that are using it through this club, or are they coming from other places to use them?
If you talk to the club, they say it's the majority of Sherwood residents.
Okay.
I have no way of knowing that, to be honest with you, because when they were on this site, it was marked as private invite only to play at Snyder Park. So.
And that's one of the challenges, obviously, is trying to balance a public resource for what can be seen as a private use. So Lance, you can't see this, but Manny has his hand up. Manny, did you have a question?
Yeah, just to kind of understand the situation more, what's like the setup? Like you mentioned something about it setting it up for a pickleball. I don't know the difference. Is it a different net or size? Like what's the difference there?
Yeah, you can actually put 2 pickleball courts on 1 tennis court. It's a much smaller court. And so you can actually, and when we had it resurfaced, we do now have 4 pickleball courts lined up out there, 2 on each tennis court. So they're a much smaller court with a lower net and not as much area to play in because it's a smaller game.
Okay. I wasn't sure because it is open play, like for everyone else. Didn't know if is that something they can set up themselves or something we have to manage? Because I'm just thinking about like the majority, or I guess the other population has to come in, first come, first serve, whereas we're like reserving space for pickleball.
And that's why they have their job box up there. Their nets and paddles and stuff are in that job box. One of the complaints I received was there were other pickleball players up there that had their own equipment. So they went up to play, and these guys told them, hey, you can't come up here and play right now. It's our time. And I had that conversation with the club and said, no, it's not your time. It's designated for anybody to play pickleball. That was one of the complaints I had. I don't know how expensive pickleball equipment is. I don't think it's probably overly expensive. And I think as the weather gets better and if we stay in this pandemic, you are going to have people buy their own pickleball equipment. I just kind of see that coming. It's a really, really fast growing sport right now.
Is it, is there signage up there kind of explaining the timing and stuff?
There is some signage up there. I actually checked that today again to make sure it was up there. We have some permanent signs up there from when Parks Board first gave them the Tuesday, Thursday stuff. And then we have some signage up there that says temporary designated pickleball times and added the Monday that you guys gave them back in June.
So do they have Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday now?
They have Monday evenings from 6 to 8 p.m. and they have Tuesday and Thursday mornings from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. I shouldn't say they have, but those times are designated for pickleball.
So that's available for club use, or if somebody has their own personal pickleball use?
Yeah, should be available for anybody who wants to play pickleball.
Okay. And then, so if I want to, so just to clarify further, within those timeframes, they have the ability to reserve it as private use currently, but they don't always?
No, they don't. It's for anybody to play pickleball. The perception is from some other people that they are doing that because they are a club, because when it was listed on that site and listed as private invite only, the exact quote from one of the guys was, "I do not understand how so-and-so can use a public park and limit pickleball attendance to a private group. How is this possible?"
Which it's
and
not.
I understand the question, because if you go to that site and try to go on our courts, it says private invite only. So, and then they're told that the club is full, we can't take any more members. So, you know, I'm here just to ask you because they asked me to ask you if they could have another night.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if you've got other questions, I can answer them. We have had some tennis conflicts too, but we've also had pickleball conflicts with people that do not belong to their club.
And just to reiterate, just because they're designated pickleball times doesn't mean somebody else can't go up on another day individually and decide to play pickleball if no tennis is occurring. Because like Lance said, the equipment's become so affordable that many people just have a kit or have it in their trunk and decide to go set up and play. And so that is an option for both pickleball and tennis if someone has their own equipment. They just would not be able to get into that box that we've let them store up there to access their equipment. And currently we don't do any reservations for any time whatsoever. The only time when we've ever done that has been years ago if we had a request from the school because of a tournament or something very special happening, but we do not reserve the courts currently.
That's correct. It is on our fee schedule, but it I would probably say since we've had those courts, 10 years maybe, I don't know how long ago we built that water tower and put the courts up there. I've maybe reserved them twice in 10 years for something special. Other than that, we don't rent those courts out. It's an open park, go play.
So it's open park for tennis as well then?
Yep.
So what does it mean then that it's designated pickleball? Like what's the difference between those times and other times?
It's just if you showed up during that time, it would be set up for pickleballs. If someone wants to play tennis, they should not come during those times because we tried to set aside some time that was just set up for pickleball.
And the club or citizens are putting the pickleball up, not city employees.
Correct.
So is the tennis court currently reservable? You had mentioned it a couple times in the past it's happened, but
I would say yes if we wanted to start reserving the court. Like I said, we don't do that very often unless we have, you know, a special occasion and high school's having a big tournament, they need some extra court, something like that.
We haven't reserved it or rented it by the hour, like you might for a picnic shelter or any other location. I mean, that's something that we could consider or think about, but that's, another component to manage. And then
Right.
there's a lot of staff time put into that. So it's just been open play. Like Lance said, it's only been when there's a tournament or a special event that we've needed to block it out and reserve it for.
Like I said in the chat, I would say that I don't think we should change anything until we've heard directly from the club. So I don't think we should make any changes tonight. Obviously, this meeting is open to anybody who wants to come and have a comment. So it shouldn't just be on Lance to be relaying their concerns. If they have a concern, they should come to our next meeting and voice it before we make any changes, in my opinion.
I agree, Brian. I think also just hearing from the probably tennis players too would be good, just to kind of get everyone's perspective.
I would like to know if the club is charging for their pickleball bookings.
They are charging to join their club, which is they say is to maintain the equipment. And I don't think it's a huge fee, but they are charging to join their club, which is part of the conversation we've had with them. Is you can't charge people to be on to come and use a city resource or asset. So you need to, it's one thing if that's how you're managing your equipment or paying for that, but it can't appear that people are coming and paying to play. This is not a private business.
Yeah, if you look on some of the places where Snyder Park has been listed as a pickleball place to play, I've seen their dues anywhere from $5 to $20, and that is so that you can get the combination to our equipment box.
So they're renting equipment.
Yeah, it looks
I
like
have
John
a question.
Clifford. Yeah, go ahead, John.
So it sounds like this conversation is specifically to one particular club. And although the courts are not necessarily reserved for any specific club, does that mean that if there was another club that wanted to play during those hours that they can do that? So I could imagine that there might be some points where two clubs may show up at the same time, but neither one of them has any prior seniority over the other. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would say that would be correct. I mean, those 3 times we mentioned Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday are designated for pickleball. So anybody who plays the game of pickleball could show up at that time and set up to play.
Okay. So they can't, even though this club itself seems to be attending these weeks, they cannot really come to us and complain that another club is playing during those hours. Is that correct?
No, that's not their complaint. Their complaint right now is they just don't think they have enough pickleball courts in town and they need more time at Snyder Park. That's basically their complaint.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Brian's comment earlier too. I mean, I would like to hear more information, maybe directly from them. And I mean, I'd like to know more about, like, is it predominantly Sherwood residents that are coming in to use them at that point? Yeah, I think it's valid to kind of learn more. And I mean, maybe it is worth, if pickleball is growing that fast, maybe at some point we do discuss adding pickleball courts, or maybe even making something that's reservable, similar to the field house, So I think there are further discussions we could have. In my mind, I'd like a little more context, I think. I mean, we've gained a lot here, but maybe hearing more from them directly. I mean, they do have 3 openings that seem significant to me, spread through the week, but.
Well, yeah, and to be honest with you, they have those 3 openings. they use it way more than those 3 openings. If you go to Playtime Scheduler, we were listed 5 days a week on there. So.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense too. I mean, similar to what Kristen was saying, where, I mean, you have the ability to go set up, and just like a tennis player can go in and, you know, use it at a random hour, a pickleball player can come in. And so I think it's difficult in my mind, without getting a lot more context, to carve out more time specific to one sport if tennis doesn't have that same opportunity. If pickleballers have that opportunity any day, anytime, it's hard for me to say tennis players don't have that same opportunity to use those same courts. So that's the one challenge I see in my mind, that I would like more context to try to justify why 3 windows for one specific sport wouldn't be enough.
Kristen, do you know if that fee that they're charging, is that a one-time fee, or is that every time somebody wants to play up there?
I believe, Lance, I don't know if you can answer this. I think that before they used to have like I want to say an annual fee and then maybe a lifetime fee.
Yeah, it's my understanding is it's a one-time club fee.
Yeah, I don't think my concern is as much directly with the club itself. It's just the overall view of pickleball versus tennis, and segmenting off a specific use for the courts. And if there is overall demand for more pickleball, okay, how do we explore trying to provide opportunities for that if that demand's coming from Sherwood residents?
Mm-hmm.
And I've kind of given them some direction in that respect. You know, there are 12 other tennis courts in the city, so I have given them some contact information for the school district and told them that maybe they should start another partnership along with the one that they have with the city. So that has been broached a little bit, because I don't know where we'll come up with money out of our budget to build new pickleball courts, to be honest with you. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out really quickly that regardless of the outcome here, it might be a good idea for us to explore asking them to put some kind of language on their little reservable site thing there that says that they're not like affiliated with us and things like that, because I just did a quick internet search on that and found it, and it absolutely looks like you're paying them money to reserve a pickleball court that is actually belongs to the city. So,
right.
Yeah.
Brian, which site were you looking at?
Oh gosh, I closed it and I can't remember what it was now.
Was it places
to play? Yeah, that was it.
I'm just looking at it now too.
Yep, that's one.
Yeah, we're Snyder Park is listed at many places. The one that was complained about was the Playtime Scheduler one, because that's where pickleball players go in and schedule a time to play with other pickleball players. And I asked them to take it off of I asked Playtime to take our park off their site. So that did not go over very well with the club, but it's a done deal.
But you're right, Brian. We should try to locate those sites and go in and make sure that it's clear that that is not a City of Sherwood activity, and it is City of Sherwood courts.
Yeah, and also probably something along the lines of this doesn't guarantee you access during that time, because again, it's first come, first serve.
Right, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
I was just going to say I agree too. I mean, I know, again, being a PE teacher too, and how popular the sport is and how affordable it is, I think the language needs to be that it's open and available to everyone and not an exclusive club time, which sounds like there's some, that's up in the air on some of these sites. But I think that what the club's asking for if they have 2 initial morning times and they're asking for a second additional evening time, that I think that's great for the community, because that's really 2 morning and 2 evening times out of a 7-day week. So there's a lot of opportunities for tennis to be there. But as far as painted pickleball courts in the area, there aren't a lot, so I can see why it's a go-to spot. So I think it can be a really positive, but I think it needs to be really clearly advertised. But that's open for everyone, and not this kind of club-like almost how it's coming across. So I'd be open for adding more pickleball designated time if the club is clear that it's it's an open time for anyone in the community to go ahead and play. But that's just my side, just knowing that it is a very popular sport and there are not a lot of tennis courts that are painted with the pickleball lines too. So I can see why it's being used all the time.
Do you know what the equipment, like, would it be reasonable for somebody to have their equipment in their car and take it up with them to put it, like, say they got rid of the box for the one?
Well, the rackets are very affordable, and there's all different types. I mean, you can spend a lot, but you can get started for a little. And for my PE classes, get a 4-pack on Amazon for $20, but you can go up into the hundreds for really lightweight honeycomb, ones. But the other part is the net. Like was mentioned, a standard tennis court, you can fit 2 pickleball courts. So the net is a little bit lower, and it's, but a portable net is, it's affordable, but it's more cumbersome to almost like a 10 by 10 canopy. You're carrying that if you're setting up your own net for 2 courts in a 1-court tennis space. So that's the part where I can see why they have the box there for the pickleball nets. But again, at the same time, it's not that expensive, but most people have their own rackets, and the pickleballs themselves are like a wiffle ball, very affordable. It's just the net system that they're setting up to get 2 courts in one that is a little more cumbersome. But like I said, I'm all for promoting it for our community. It's a great game because it involves all ages, and especially as you get, as bodies slow down in age to run across a tennis court, you can get a much wider range of people playing it. It's a fun sport for singles and doubles, and to get 4 courts in a 2-court tennis court system, you can get more people involved at the same time. So I think it's a great sport, but like I said, I think for this club, it needs to be really clearly advertised to the community that it's open for anyone during those designated hours.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Any other comments or thoughts?
I guess I'll tell them if they have a concern that they can come to the next Parks Board meeting.
Yeah, I think it's worth fleshing out a little bit more. So I think there's great input across the board from everybody. And so I'd say if it's worth hearing directly from them, and just we can ask them directly some of these questions that we might have, and we're trying to guess their answers on. Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's great opportunity for people to get out and play pickleball, and I definitely understand the challenge of, okay, it is available for pickleballers at any time, but there's a challenge of putting a net in place, and carrying that around or something too. So there's a benefit to having a carved out time if those are being set up for it already. But yeah, so I think it's worth kind of discussing this further. Kristen, you look like you were going to.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so Eric, would you like them to, are you asking that we invite them to the meeting? I mean, typically we don't have kind of the dialogue back and forth. If that's what you'd like to do, of course, that's fine. Or are you asking for a letter answering some of these questions to be submitted as citizen comment, assuming that we're still going to be in this virtual format?
Yeah, that's true. It's a little bit different. Without
if you want to give it some thought, you can let me know. But just before we extend that invitation, I want to make sure that we're extending it correctly.
Yeah, let me chew on that a little bit, and I'll get back to you on that. But I'd say for now, would make sense to continue as is, because I don't think we're doing any harm to anybody by continuing as is. But there is potential for harm of basically excluding tennis by adding another night. So for now, I'd say let's continue while we mull it over.
Okay. And then we can think about how we want to work the next meeting and continue those conversations. Okay. And if I could ask, if I know a couple of you mentioned it would be great to hear from them. If there's any specific, I mean, you did point out some questions. If you think of anything else that you would like to know, please let us know and we can help format whatever type of presentation or conversation we have with them next month to be geared towards that. So if we do end up needing to have them submitted as a citizen comment, we can make sure that they're addressing those items. So if you think of any other questions that you'd like us to ask, please let us know.
Yeah, feel free to reach out to me if you have questions that you didn't get answered tonight, or if you had questions you didn't feel comfortable asking tonight or whatever. This has been pretty intimate to me for the last couple of months. So if you got any questions whatsoever, give me a holler and I'll see what I can do to answer them for you. Thank you guys for hearing me out.
Thanks, Lance.
You bet.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you very much, Lance.
My pleasure.
Excellent. So next on our agenda, Kristen, you had an update for the Parks Master Plan.
Yeah, this will be pretty brief. The Parks Master Plan is going in front of council tomorrow night for the first reading. And so there will be 2 hearings, 2 readings, and then it will be adopted. So things are moving forward. Things are looking great. I just thank you all for your work on the Parks Master Plan. I think it's a wonderful product and one that you should be very proud of. And I know it's been a long process. So thank you for sticking with us through it and working on it and putting so much into it. But it's finally almost done.
Yeah, and along those lines, I'd like to thank everybody who was able to attend the Sherwood 2040 plan a few weeks ago from the Parks Board. I know Rodney and Joy and a few others were online. We appreciate that. Thanks for calling in that night.
Excellent. Yeah, let's go to the maintenance update. Harry, is he online still with us?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Cool.
All right, so trail number 2 has been completed with the asphalt repairs and crack sealing and seal coating. That's trail 2 there in the Woodhaven subdivision from Kinglet to Madera, I think it is. Might have that street wrong, but I know it's Kinglet Court, that section there. Along with that project, Stella parking lot, north parking lot is we're waiting for the weather to seal coat and restripe that north parking lot, the new parking lot at Stella Olson. So we're waiting with the contractor and weather. And we also have a spring. If anyone knows that parking lot, there's a spring that goes across the whole parking lot. We got to figure out how to dry that before they can do their seal coating and painting that parking lot. Along the same lines as Stella Olson, I don't know if ones have noticed, there's a belt swing, pendulum swing, and a tire swing missing, where parts are ordered to get that repaired and fixed with that. And also starting today at Snyder Baseball, Pacific Sports Turf started their maintenance work on the outfield for the natural turf area of deep tining, aerating, slice seeding, and also top dressing. That should all be done Wednesday of this week. And along with the nice weather we've been having, so we've been busy in the parks with fertilizing. We've actually turned irrigation on. It's the earliest I've seen since I worked for the city for irrigation to come on. So we're busy with maintenance. So trying to keep them up.
Excellent. Thank you, Harry.
Yeah.
So I think with you being on, I think there's a good transition with you and Kristen. We're going to look at the tree removal update as well.
Yes. Yeah. So we have just one tree that we're looking at. You may have some questions. So yes, thanks for hanging out, Harry. It looks like it's a tree that was probably damaged through storm activity. It's on a green space on 17693 Southwest Heatherwood Lane. Kelsey has that pulled up. I'm looking at my screen and then realizing that she also has it pulled up here as well. There is an arborist report for the tree saying that overall it's in decent health, but the tree is damaged, and that due to health and safety concerns that they are recommending that it be removed. So I was looking at how beautiful that is back there. I'm like, wow, it's gorgeous back there with the water. So that is the only request that we have. Kelsey, if you can flip, there we go. Just a map, a visual, so you can see where that is located.
Is it on the trail there?
It's on the green space. So it looked to me like they back up to, and Harry, you might know this, it looked to me like there was water in the back, like a little creek back there. I don't know if maybe it's just flooded.
Yeah, it's not flooded. It's just a high water season from the rain, but that's actually closer to someone's backyard, and that's where the complaint's coming. Is the branches and the overhang of the umbrella is actually over the homeowner's property line, and that's their concern. Is when with the storm that we had, branches came out and went into their yard, and they're concerned about their property.
Okay, so the address there, that was where the complaint came in from. So that's what I was wondering about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of zooming in on the Google Maps. Yeah, there's a little pond in that back green space. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
One I never knew about.
Did they say what kind of tree it is?
It's a cherry tree, I believe.
It's a cherry
What
sapling.
are they gonna replace it with something native or?
I'm sorry, go ahead, Harry.
Sorry. Yes, they would plant with a different species of tree coming this fall when it's a better planting season.
I have a question, related but not, but I don't remember if it was that. There's no trail there, right? That's someone's backyard. But I think there was a trail over there, and it looked like there was some damage to some cherry trees like this, like more so like it looked like they were, kind of cut into. Do you guys know anything about that? If there's some activity going on with other cherry trees coming down on the trails back there too?
Not to my knowledge. No.
Okay. Okay.
Joy, do they look vandalized?
I'm not smart enough to know the answer to that.
There might have been maybe during the windstorm damage where ones have maybe cut limbs, or if they've broken off. If you're seeing a fresh cut, it might be from the storm cleanup.
Okay, well maybe it was that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think to my knowledge, are we talking, Joy, are you talking about Woodhaven area?
Yeah, one of the, yeah.
Yeah, I believe Woodhaven has they have a series of landscape contractors or maintenance contractors out there periodically doing the open spaces, and I believe that's probably what happened during those severe storms and the wind. Some of that was just cleared out. I think it was just in order to have access to the trail. But not necessarily clearing the whole thing out. So that's why a lot of down trees are still visible.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks, John.
So we'll need to vote to approve or decline pulling the tree out. So if somebody wants to move to approve the request, and then we would need a second and then a vote.
Yeah, I'll move to approve. I think this person's property is probably pretty important to them. If we're going to replace it, it's cool.
Excellent. Then can I get a second?
I'll second that emotion.
All right. It's John. So all in favor and aye?
Aye.
Aye.
And then any opposed? Okay. Unanimous pass on approving the tree removal with replacement of a different species this fall. So I'm sure the property owner will be relieved. Let's see here. Let me jump back to my. So one downside is not having the paper in front as I'm jumping between screens. But yeah, thank you so much for your time, Harry. Walking us through the update and going through the tree removal. So with that, we will jump to council updates from Russell. You've got to hang out with us the whole time.
That's right.
Shining moment.
Very exciting. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yes, I see some head nods. Hey, so first, before, I don't know if Harry's already gone. Oh, he's still there. Good. So I wanted to mention it is National Public Works Week, and I would like to pay special special thanks to all the public works individuals who do such a great job in the city of Sherwood. Harry and Lance and Craig, the whole team, I think they do an amazing job. So Harry, thank you so much for all that you do and coming to the meetings and helping us understand, and Lance ditto as well. So I just think they're great. And I think the parks really look amazing. Our parks look amazing, just absolutely amazing. Let's see, it's also, I'll get to the other national, there's a lot of national weeks this week. So I think we should start a game, and it's Where's Rodney? I love this. I don't know where he's going, but it's like, try and guess what part of Sherwood he's in at the moment. We should all just be walking around like Rodney is. I love it. So where are you right now? Tell us. Where?
I'm in.
Did he say he was in Sherwood? Oh, there you are. You're somewhere.
I think I'm close to where the tree thing is.
Ah.
Yeah, it's Sam pointing the camera around, showing us some of the work the landscaping group had done.
Yeah, what Rodney's saying is he's in somebody's backyard.
Yeah.
Well, it's different. Like something's going on. Like this tree's all been cut apart, and it's interesting if they're going to replace these trees or not.
Yeah, that's maybe what Joy was talking about.
Yeah, I think that's a good example. Thank you, Rodney.
Yeah, I just vote we have Rodney always out in the field, walking around.
It'd be great.
I love it. I just absolutely love it. All right.
I feel like we're a news agency and he's our field agent. Now let's go to Rodney.
I love it. I think it's awesome. I love it. So let's see. I have a lot of number one council's agenda is finding a new city manager. So we are well underway. We have a contractor hired, city staff, a lot of senior managers and employees, and council and the mayor have all been interviewed. And that begins, they start to put together sort of a job profile. And then that has to be vetted and gone through thoroughly before we even get to the part where we're going to advertise. So we're starting that process. Everybody on the council and the mayors, everybody's taking it very seriously. I had like an hour and a half discussion with this wonderful person from SGR, Lynn, and she's going to help guide us as we search for our next city manager. So, and then we have Kristen, who's stepping up and helping us as interim city manager. So thank you very much for that. And the budget's coming up. So that's on our plates as well. I'm sure it's all over Kristen's plate right now. I think it's published on the 10th. Today is the 3rd. That's a week. That's a week from today. The budget gets published. And then I think our first meeting is on the 20th of May. First of one, probably 3. Sometimes we go 4. First year I went 4, but this time maybe it's only 3 years. So that's coming up. That's all happening starting on the 20th of May. That's kind of a big deal. Food for thought. There are 4.2 pickleball players in the U.S. Just want to let that out there. 4.2 million as of last year. Who knew, right? Who knew? Let's see what else is happening. I would like to mention, I think it's great that we're fortunate enough to have, residents like Neil Shannon, who spent all that time doing all of that research. Now, granted, this Redfern, that access point, for example, he's only a few houses away from that spot, but absolutely, not only does he have a vested interest, but Neil has been the kind of citizen who came to, during the 8 years I was on the planning commission, sometimes he would be the only person, the only citizen coming to the meeting and providing commentary. So if he's listening or he watches this recording, we absolutely appreciate his input in everything that he does. I love it when citizens get involved. When your voice is heard, then actions get taken. Let's see, comp plan is wrapping up. It's hard to believe that it's wrapping up. So it's wrapping up, and we have a few more weeks and meetings and some finalizing and edits and whatnot. But we're working on that. Parks Master Plan tomorrow night, and then in 2 weeks on the 18th, hopefully we'll have it passed. It's a beautiful document. I don't think Lauren's not. I don't think Lauren's still on the call, but if she were here, I would say what a great job that MIG did. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's just a beautiful plan. I'm very proud of it. Let's see. Don't forget coming up. Oh, I was going to ask, Kristen, would you find? Oh, Harry's still there. Hey, Harry, the parts that are missing from Stella Olson, is that? Do you think that's use? Do you think it's vandalism? What is it? Do you know?
Yeah. It is use. It's just they're wear and tear items.
Okay.
One is the tire swing. It's a plastic swing. UV rays, it breaks down and then it causes cracks. And then the pendulum swing was just, it's a metal on metal. So just use.
Okay. No, I think that's awesome. I would hate to think that we're starting to get, some vandalism. And I know we do sometimes get some of that stuff, but great. I mean, is that sooner than we expected, or are we sort of planning on this happening every so often?
This happens quite a bit, and every structure is different, and just the way this structure was designed, the way the brackets are, is just without having manufacturer's recommendations of having a certified welder to re-weld a tab. We just went this for the liability part, just order a new top rail just because of the way it's designed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, whatever you guys decide, I think that's perfect. That's just awesome. So I just like to. You happen to mention that the parts were missing, and I thought, oh, what does that mean? So that makes me feel much better.
Parts are being used. I just want to make sure that everyone knows we're getting parts are on order.
Cool. Thank you very much. Let's see. Other than that, we have lots of other small, projects that the council is working on, but our main focus would be finding a new city manager, getting into the budget smoothly so that Kristen can survive the whole budget process. When is Joe's last day? The
21st.
Right. So we only have just a few.
The day after the first budget meeting.
He hits the road. Yeah, I'm not
Here's
sure.
the budget. I'm out.
Yeah, and then you inherit everything next Monday. Let's see. I think that's all I have. So just FYI, besides National Public Works Week, it's also National Police Week. So if you find a police officer, see a police officer, thank them. Maybe say something on Facebook positive. So it's also National Police Week. I think Chief Groth, we're lucky to have him here in the city of Sherwood. And so reach out to him and, just let your local officer know how you feel about how they're doing. So let's see. Also, it's National Children's Book Week, National Sun Awareness Week, National Deaf Awareness Week, National Mental Health Awareness Week, and it's also National Anaphylaxis Week. And because of that, I have my inhaler right here. I'm ready to go, just in case something happens during the meeting. I think that's it. Unless anybody has any questions about anything that council is up to, or
Russell, I just wanted to let you know that my son is taking his inhaler right now.
Is he? I get it once a year. I hardly ever need it, but I get it just in case. Because there's that one time when you go out and you mow the yard, you forgot to take your allergy medicine, and you're like, so I get it once a year. I only use it twice. I feel really guilty about that. But
And Russell, you're broadcasting from inside the new high school, right?
Yeah, can you tell? Can you see? I'm in where am I? Am I in the weight room? I'm not in the weight room, sure. So I don't know where I'm at, but that's my current. I love that. It looks like I'm really there, doesn't it? I just love it. So, all right. Anybody have any questions? Like Kristen did earlier, I would like to also thank you on behalf of council for working so hard on the Parks Master Plan. Honestly, when it gets published and everybody has a copy, and your names are all in it, by the way. Your names are in it. I think everybody's names are going to be in it, most of you. It's great. It's a wonderful document. And, I think it is a little bit of it's very aspirational. It's also very functional. It's both. And as the mayor has said before, and Kristen has said before, sometimes when we, the city, when we're looking to find a pot of money, maybe federal money, we have to have whatever that project is listed and named in a plan that the council has adopted. So it's almost impossible to have money fall into your lap to do these cool projects that we want to do unless there is an officially adopted master plan, which has all the details of what that is. So this is a great step for the city. So, and it's gorgeous, just gorgeous. So that's all I have.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Russell. I always appreciate your colorful comments and insight in everything around us. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And so typically at the very end, there's just another category, and usually we leave that blank. So, but as we're doing this meeting, I was kind of mulling over the idea with the pickleball thing. I don't want to make it a full agenda item. I don't think it's worth that, but I do think it's definitely worth dialogue about and to get more input. So I'd say if anybody has any specific questions for this club that had raised the issue, let's send those to Kelsey. Is that the right channel probably?
Yeah, to either Kelsey or to myself, and we'll work together to get them to Lance and to the club, and yeah.
Yeah, so let's do that. You can get that to them this week, and then that way you can take whatever you've compiled from this week. Then, John, you just raised your hand as well.
Yeah, go ahead and finish what you're talking about, because this is not related to that topic.
Okay. Yeah, so my thought is just if we can get any comments or questions to Kelsey and Kristen this week, that way they can compile that, and we can request a comment from them. And I think we could take that and spur a conversation and dialogue about what to do with that decision. But I just didn't want to make that a full action item that takes up 3/4 of next month.
Okay.
Kristen, I just got a quick question. Do we have a relationship with like Beaverton or Hillsborough or somebody else that might have been dealing with this club already?
We do, and we have talked to a few different people. I've seen it work both ways. I was down in Wilsonville and actually took some pictures. They actually do use Playtime Scheduler to schedule their courts, but they have a designated pickleball court. So there's a sign on the court that says this is what you need to use. So they're dealing with a different club. Most of the clubs, I believe this club is part of a larger regional club. And so their sister club, if you will, I know they're pretty active in Tualatin and in Westland. Westland was actually having the same problem with Playtime Scheduler and kind of told us what to do, who to contact to remove the information for it to appear that people were reserving a city court. So we have the various parks and recreation departments or directors in the various cities have discussed this. We're just, it's unfortunate we just don't have more courts. I think Tualatin has something like 14 pickleball courts or something crazy like that. So many cities have designated courts. Our challenges are just a little bit unique in trying to share tennis space and pickleball space. So that's where I'd say our challenge is unique compared to other cities who are trying to balance out keeping a public resource available and having a private group utilize it. So that was my very long answer. I hope that helped. But yes, we are in conversation with our neighbors.
Oh yeah, and I'm just wondering if it is such a growing sport, is that something that Sherwood would do? Would be to build something that is income, like bring income into the system?
Well, we could definitely build something. I mean, we could add it, and something that an asset that we could add to a park. I think that where it would be challenging is if we really want to charge for it and have people have to rent space. And different cities handle that different ways. I mean, you go someplace like Sun River, you're going to make a reservation, you're going to pay to use the tennis court, you're going to pay to use the pickleball court, but you have designated time, and that's how it works. I worked down in California, in Newport Beach, same thing. You would actually purchase time and you would get coins, and you would put coins in a little gate and it would let you in, and that's how you got in to access the courts. So they were locked up and reserved, and that's how you had to pay to play. So, but that's a different philosophy. I mean, it's something that we'd have to decide. Do we want to restrict time, and do we want people to have to pay to play? Even then, I honestly don't know what it costs to build a pickleball court. things always cost more than I think they're going to. But I don't think we would recoup our money. We would be doing it because we think that the community would want to see it here and would enjoy it and utilize it. We would not be making any money off of the courts.
Okay. No, I just didn't know if there would be public courts and then private courts that you could rent out if it was a money and generator, but you'd have to do the return on investment.
Right, sure.
Yeah, and there are private clubs around that have courts as well for, racket clubs and things too. So
Yeah.
there are places you could pay to play, I think, already. So
right.
Cool. Yeah, John, you had another side thought or question or comment?
Yeah, this is in regards to the YMCA. I know that they have a new director, Scott Pierce. I don't know him. I just saw him. I was reading it in the Sherwood Gazette. And I was just wondering, in the past, Ryan used to come to our meetings periodically and give us updates when we were actually, physically in the town hall. But I was just wondering if, as far as this, I guess this question goes to Kristen, if we are going to be introduced to Scott anytime soon.
Yeah, we can definitely look at having him join us in either June or July. He is going to be introduced at council tomorrow night during the council work session, I believe. So that will be televised as well if you would like to watch that. But I love that idea. He should be attending on a regular basis. That's actually part of our contract and agreement with them. So we just need to get that started. So I'll see if I can't have him join us in June.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Great. Any other thoughts to throw in at the end of our meeting tonight? All right.
I had a quick one.
Yes.
Russell, I don't know if it's national, but it's Teacher Appreciation Week also. Not sure if that made your list.
I knew I was going to miss one. I probably just went to the wrong website, so I wrote them down as quickly as I could.
Well, it's a long list, so I just figured I'd throw mine
yes,
in there too.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, and I just want to let everybody know that Mr. Shannon is watching our show tonight. I mean, not our show. You know what I mean? Our meeting tonight. He's watching our meeting tonight. He's already responding.
People see it as a show, right?
It wasn't a show till you came on, Russell. Let's be honest.
That's not necessarily good.
You stepped it up a whole new level. So,
so my real question though was about the splash pads. Are those? I remember Harry mentioning this. It's the earliest we've turned on irrigation, so something like that. Are we able to do that this year, or what's the status with those and COVID and everything else?
So Harry, feel free to chime in, but it is going to depend on our risk level that we are in. Our numbers are going to be extremely limited and hard to manage if we go into the extreme category. So I believe we're working on preparations. I'm not sure if they would be ready to go or if the numbers and guidance will allow us to do that. This actually falls under pools and spas, not a park or outdoor recreation for guidance. Harry, do you have anything to add on that?
No, that's exactly what it is. We're just the guidance levels and how many people we could put in them. And yes, we're maintaining them. We've actually had water come out of them last week because they haven't ran for over a year and 4.5 months, I think it's been. A lot of wear and tear in a moisture pump area. So, but water did come out of both water features last week. So
great.
If everything goes good, hopefully we just flip the switch and we're good to go.
Great, thank you.
Harry, can you accidentally test the system on Wednesday? When it's going to be like 82 degrees or something like that. It's totally fine with me. Just tell Joe that's what I said. Okay.
Yeah, around 2 p.m.
Russell, you have to answer to Kristen now.
Oh, that's true. That is very true. Yeah.
No, I have to answer to him. Right.
It's actually the reverse of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. In case people didn't know that, council only has 2 employees. We hire 2 people. We hire the city manager and the city attorney. Everybody else works for the city manager. That's it. That's how it works. We have 2 employees. only 2 people we can harass. So now Kristen is one of those people. So we're so grateful. Yeah.
So those employees have 7 bosses.
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
Right. That's
could be, but we're pretty
wonderful, supportive. Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry, we digress.
Yeah.
We definitely appreciate the extra work you'll be putting in, Kristen. I know it'll be, I'm sure, stressful and kind of trial by fire in a way, but I'm sure your pressure on council will be even heavier than on finding that replacement.
That's right. No, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody's been great, so it'll, fingers crossed for smooth sailing.
Excellent. Well, yeah, thank you all very much for your time tonight. And like I mentioned earlier, let's get any comments or questions to Kelsey and Kristen regarding pickleball. We can maybe get some answers for a citizen comment then next month that we can read through that and just kind of dialogue from there, and then kind of move on with the rest of the plan of the agenda. So, all right. Well, thank you all again. Take care. Have a great night.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.